Hello, I'm Sean McGovern, and I'm Chair of Unite's National Disability Week MTC, but more importantly, I'm a socialist campaigning against the cuts. Richard spoke very well on what's happening to disabled people, but I just want to add to this a couple of things. Disabled people have, over the last few years, a couple of decades, beginning to come into the light from the dark. Things like ILF, DLA, direct payments, taxi card, freedom passes, these things have given us a degree of freedom. 30, 40 years ago, we were largely isolated in homes, in our own homes. We weren't in jobs, very likely didn't get an education. Today, we're breaking away from that. We are seeing the sunshine coming out of the shadows. Unfortunately, as we come out of those shadows into the glare of sunlight, we have governments tacitly agreeing with the scab element of the media, the Daily Hate, the Sun. They will have us all as criminals. We're not criminals. We don't always choose to be the way we are. I'm quite proud of the way I am. I'm a disabled person, and I'm proud to be disabled. But the thing is, there are barriers there that we can't surmount. And what's happening is we're getting blamed for the deficit. I think Michael Howard turned around and said something on the line that the rampant growth in incapacity benefit and disability benefits is largely a large effect on the deficit itself. We have to disagree with this. We've got to go out there, we've got to write into papers when they put up scurrilous, disgraceful reports about disabled people cheating benefits. We've got to look and say, hold on a minute, something along the lines of 1.8 billion is one way or another mistake from disability and other benefits. We don't know how much tax cheats get away with. 120 billion I've heard, and yet they're sacking people in tax offices instead of employing more people to chase up these bastards, the ones that are left with no reality. I ask you from the 26th of March to get out there, bring any disabled friends you have, family members, please bring them along with you. We need to be at the front of that march on the 26th to show that the cuts are really hitting us, and also to set the pace of the march. We can't keep being left behind, and we want to be at the front of the march. Thank you very much.
I'm, as you can tell, from Norfolk, from my Norfolk. It reminds me of that movie, Mars Invades, only it's Norwich is invading today. I come from an organization called Norfolk Coalition Against the Cuts. I invite you to have a look at our website. It is not only a fantastic website in terms of what's happening in Norfolk, there's also national interest. By all means, have a look at it. Like my friend Jack said, we face the irony that on the 14th of February, arguably the day of love, the Norfolk County Council is deciding to cut the heart out of our services in our county, and boy, they're happy about it. There's a chap by the name of Ian Mackey. He's allegedly the leader of the conservative group of Norfolk County Council, and good old Ian said, these cuts are not for today, they're forever. Which is the interesting thing. He doesn't say that in Norfolk. He whispered that into the ear of a reporter from the Wall Street Journal. In Norfolk, he says, nobody goes into politics to cut services. Blind sucker. I'm bringing you a strange message, and it's been, as an activist, it's been a strange route, I think, for me personally, and I think for some of the rest of us, because for our sins, one of the activities we do quite frequently is hand out leaflets on Gentleman's Walk. It's a place a lot of people who are people in shopping in Norwich go every weekend. And you get a lot of rejection, you get some people who are interested, you get people who are just mesmerized by consumer capitalism and just walking along, oh, please don't bother me, thinking that we're religious zealots. You have all those factors, okay, and you think, I'm just beating my head against the wall. But we decided, just for giggles, as it happened, we didn't do it deliberately, the coldest weekend in December, in a very cold year, we decided to have a demonstration. And I tell you, it was a real Kevin Costner moment, because I didn't think anybody was going to be stupid enough to show up on such horrible weather. And I tell you, I built it, and it came. 2,000 human beings, some of them were in wheelchairs, some of them were they were there. We were so dense, we hadn't even cleared ice off the path. Did that stop them? Hell no, they got the huskies out, they hauled themselves through the snow. The parade was so long that it actually swallowed its own tail. We had a limited path that the local constabulary would allow such terrible radicals as ourselves to be on. And there were so many people that we actually had a continuous loop of protesters. It was quite enchanting, actually. So my feeling is that as activists, as we move forward, it's often to feel like you're by yourself, you're alone, you're on a tightrope. But I think there's a lot of people angry out there. Build each protest, and they will come, and they will come in their multitudes. By the way, come on to Norfolk. It's a nice place. You'll like it. I do.
Hi. I'm Adrian Wyatt from Hammersmith. I'm on the executive of the London Autistic Rights Movement, which was the first disabled people's organisation to sign up to the campaign against the cuts. I don't think that's a coincidence, because we're about rights, not charity, and we're not a charity, we're a civil rights organisation. According to research that came out last year, over 30% of people with high-functioning autism, including Asperger's syndrome, have no income at all, because job centres and the benefit system are totally inaccessible to them. And also, so is the workplace, and so is the whole job interview system. There's already, on these bases, there is a crying need to actually do things that make things accessible, to expand what people are entitled to, not to contract it. Now, 60 to 70% of disabled people have invisible disabilities. We don't look disabled as in terms of what people talk about. Now, we are bearing the biggest brunt of these cuts because we're easy targets. Well, you look all right, you must be fine, you know. Especially around DLA and all these tests around capacity to work. Because there is nothing in those really that deals with invisible disabilities, apart from you can state whether there are other factors. Unfortunately, as in terms of the leadership of disabled people against the cuts, there doesn't appear to be a single speaker invited to speak this afternoon who actually is someone who is basically with an invisible disability. And we do need to ensure that things are fully inclusive of us. There is also the fact that all governments have effectively entirely ignored the needs, in particular, of neurodiverse, including autistic people, and have deliberately excluded us from all their consultation mechanisms and all their boards to do with disability. That also has to change. The consequence of not changing this is that you find that people are not even able to get a diagnosis or an assessment or anything, and the jails are full of neurodiverse people who've been criminalised wrongly by the system. That must change. Thank you.
I'm Sasha Callahan from UCU and very proud to be a member of Black Triangle, the anti-defamation campaign, fighting not just for civil rights for disabled people but for our liberation. I was at Millbank, and anybody that was at Millbank will know that that changed everything. And I'm not frightened anymore. Why should I be? Why should I be? Of people who are bullies, who are cheats, who are monsters, who are liars, and of course I don't have to say they're bastards because Sean said that already. And you know something? They're a lot more scared of us than we should be of them. disabled people shut down, and I just don't know how we did it, every single ATOS office in Scotland. There weren't very many of us, but Keith Willman, their chief executive, was obviously absolutely terrified of a small group of very determined disabled people. Keith Willman, in his shiny, let's make everything about a car. Keith Willman, who is a poverty pimp, who has made his money out of the fear and terror of disabled people. Right, let's make him scared now. Let's make him scared. He doesn't know what's going to hit him, right? I'm asking you, every single person here today, and I'm going to be probably in trouble with my General Secretary for saying this, but I'm not even scared of her anymore. I'm asking every single person in this room to become a domestic terrorist, right? I want to ensure, and Black Triangle wants to ensure, that there is a reign of terror coming from what is the real big society, because that is us, right? Disabled people who are facing 14 separate attacks from this government, right? And I also want to say, as Fear's the word for today, credit to Charlene for coming, because I think it was a very brave thing to do. But I'm asking you, and other Labour councillors, to be really, really brave now, to come over to our side, to do what the Egyptian army did, in fact, actually, and stand on the side of the people. If you do that, all of us together, and everybody outside who's equally angry and equally outraged at what's going on, we can win this. They are nothing. They're nothing in the face of the power that we have. Being a disabled person isn't a lifestyle choice. Being a poor person isn't a lifestyle choice. But being a free person is a lifestyle choice. And that is the choice that we are going to